climate change, climate action, and climate shame. Our blue planet has without question seen its fair share of changes over the 4.5 billion years it has existed. Even though our planet has seen more diversity than we can ever imagine, ongoing climate uproar seems to emulate the Earth's poles more than it represents the unity of the nations surrounding them. The purpose of this debate must be to inspire people to take small attainable actions rather than feeling shame for their inaction. After all, you cannot do everything, but you can always do something. And even the most dedicated activists once took their first step. If we are to stand a chance to save this planet from inevitable destruction, we need to inspire more than we preach, and show our peers that the battle for a better future is not won at the political level. It is won by the most important people of all. You and me. This is Klima.
Skin tight short sleeve shirt in winter. Doesn't look right. It gets me to Stockholm.
Forget about it.
I'm using a large, and that's a tight technique. And I had no...
Our carbon footprint continues to dig deeper into our history. Norway throws away a whopping 73 kilos of perfectly edible food per capita every year.
While we are riding towards Stockholm, I've been thinking several times that we're going now to a climate summit, sort of climate action weeks, where the root of the problem is like huge problems, and it's the solutions are so massive, and states need to get involved and do big things, but none of us are states, and I'm continually thinking that all of the small things that I do contribute a little to the larger whole.
It's different for different people, and I think it's about making small changes that can have a big impact. So on principle, it might be to do with food waste or switching off your lights or how you choose to commute to work. I mean, there are hundreds of different ways. Recycling, for instance, like actually taking the few seconds to go and recycle your cans and bottles. Everything has an impact. It's really important to communicate why. Because it's very easy to underestimate that a very sort of small change has any real value. But if everybody makes a small change, it has a massive impact. And then this is what we were talking about. This is how you reach these big targets. Everybody has to make a small difference. And it's different for every different person, but it's principle of making change.
It was a bit sketchy. We started off with a lot of ice, and then we rode straight into some pretty heavy crosswind, headwind, but we picked up the pace towards the end there, or the end of the first part of the first section, so now I think we're in a good tempo.
You see a lot of differences. For instance, that in Denmark, all the cycle paths that would be cleaned and be sold on the roads. And I can always see coming out of Oslo and through Lillestrøm. It was quite a scary moment for me, actually. Yeah, it was a challenge. Yeah.
I come from a background where I've never been an athlete. And
didn't you start 2 years ago or something?
Yeah, more or less. I started. In 2012, I started commuting to work, and I had like 8 kilometers each way. And I did it in fall, and then winter came, and I thought, well, I'll try studded tires. For me, it's just like, my road to work just grew, and it got bigger and bigger. And I remember in 2015, I rode my first 100-kilometer ride. And I literally crawled up the stairs, and I couldn't understand how it was possible. And then, like 3.5 years later, I'm riding 1,100 kilometers in one go.
Local politicians have done a great job in many cities in the Nordic countries. Copenhagen in Denmark is leading by example, making it easier to go by bike than by car.
It's just such a normal way of transportation in Denmark. Of course, Denmark is also relatively small, so I'm only talking about Copenhagen now, but also when you come outside of Copenhagen, people will still be using their bikes. And also the electric bikes, I don't know how it is, but where I come from, it's become really big. So that means that even though that you don't have the physical capabilities of biking long, you get very tired. The threshold is not as high anymore because you've got electric power to help you on the way, and you make some of the electric power yourself.
Let's say in Helsinki, where I used to commute to the office, it's way faster than taking a car or a bus. So I would kind of start from there. Like, what is the easiest way actually to get around for people?
Although it is fairly obvious that the bike is a more eco-friendly alternative to the car, most of the Nordic countries don't seem to have a domestic policy that covers all of the cities within the country.
The Cyclist Union of Denmark, and they of course keep pushing the interests of cyclists, and they're quite good at it actually. So they say every time we get a new cycle path, they say it's great, we love it, we want another one.
Okay.
Make it faster.
I don't know how it goes in Finland. I got the impression that it would be similar, that there are some like cycling associations or some kind of groups of people that are driving this agenda, but I don't know how well that goes actually. No. I think it's in individual cities that are making kind of these decisions. Do we actually want people to ride their bikes here in the city center or not? Yeah. And that there's nothing like that would cover the whole country in a way.
It's a great day today. Significantly better day. We've had 3 hours? 3 really nice hours so far. It's fantastic. The weather's on our side.
Can I just
and it's not far until lunch. It's 20
a little bit cyclocross
days,
today.
like that.
Det jeg mener det er viktig å huske på, er at den omstillingen vi går gjennom, den er nødt til å være rettferdig for folk. For hvis ikke det er rettferdighet i den politikken som blir ført, så fører det til sosial uro. Og når du får sosial uro, da får ikke du gjort noe. Da må du bare håndtere sosial uro. Så det er viktig å gjennomføre ting med det i bakhodet. Fattige oljeland, de kjøper ikke den der at vi har den reneste oljeproduksjonen. Når vi har tjent oss søkkrik på den, så har vi et moralsk ansvar på å omstille oss først, og gå foran som et foregangsland. Og på den måten blir det enklere for land å følge etter. Og da hadde jeg også vært veldig stolt av landet mitt hvis jeg kunne gjort noe sånt.
Although it is important in a global perspective that governments take collective responsibility, it is just as important that the debate is about the small and practical adjustments the likes of you and me can make. After all, politics needs to be practiced. And in practical politics will never be more than just politics.
Part of the work that I do, and for us at home, it's very much to do with food waste.
Yeah.
Food waste has an enormous negative impact on our environment, and then the solution to food waste in many ways comes down to organization and planning.
Yeah.
So the biggest change is to actually take the time that don't go to the shop every single day, plan your week.
Yeah.
Structure your meals and make sure that you use products that you can reuse or rework, or you have to plan to minimize waste.
Yeah.
It's very easy to go and buy something one day for the next and then decide you don't want it and go and buy something else, and eventually things go into the bin. It requires a bit of discipline and organization and structure, but once you start to get into that routine, and again, I mean, it makes a difference.
Jeg var på såkalt dumpster diving for noen år siden. Og da møtte jeg stort sett på bossbanen som enten var låst, overvåket, eller de som var åpne, der var det stukket hull i pakningen på produktene, og dermed ødelagt.
Some things we are good at, and some things other people are good at. But I think it's important to also show my kids that even if people aren't making all the right choices, they can still make some right choices, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's
you don't have to be. Yeah, and
we work together.
Because if the solutions to the major societal problems is like by judging others that aren't like 100% committed, then we're going nowhere because we're only building polarizing and trench wars.
Like maybe the next person doesn't eat red meat only for special occasions, for instance, or recycles their cans. Everybody can participate together. Like you said, we can't dictate to anybody, and the whole point isn't to try and tell somebody else that you should or shouldn't do this. It's just to try and inspire people that do what you can.
Guys, thank you so much for the applause. It's been a long ride. We started in Oslo on Tuesday, and now we're here.
Thursday.
Yeah, what did I say? Tuesday, Thursday. Only 3 days, but riding a lot those days. And we were led into the town by these great Swedes, the RyskaPosten, 3 guys there. And it's been a challenge, I say. Like we are riders, all of us. We ride a lot. We really enjoy cycling. And we believe also cycling is a great way of transportation, and it's a sustainable way of actually getting around. But it's also been like a mental challenge for us and a group challenge. We are riders from, maybe you want to introduce yourself. I'm Norwegian, my name is Jonas.
My name is Christian, I'm from Denmark.
I'm Erno, I'm a Finn.
Aaron from England.
And I'm Ketil from Norway. There's more potential in people than we give them credit for. Like Jonas and Arno is probably the highest ranking cyclists. The other guys were just tagging along and working our day jobs. But it's the people have more potential. We can ride like 600 kilometers over 3 days, and there's so much more people can do. And it's just you just have to do the mental preparations to do the long runs, and the short runs will come by themselves.
We invited you to cycle from Oslo to Stockholm. It's 600 k's.
Yeah.
It's quite a challenging effort considering it's December. And we're not saying everybody should do that. When you travel from Oslo to Stockholm, you can do it by train or a car, maybe, plane as well, of course. But so your initiative is more like for an inspirational part. If people see you can do this, maybe more people think, okay, maybe I should take the bike to work today. The Nordic Corporation has this sentence, which is kind of the grounding for the whole corporation, and it's we are stronger together.
Yeah, that's good.
And that accounts also for the citizens. Every little small step someone do, or big steps, corporations, policymakers, citizens, all the things we do together makes us stronger. And all this combined, we can become a kind of a climate superpower. All the Nordic countries, that's Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland, and also Greenland and Åland and the Faroe Islands. We have some common interests. We are quite alike, and in some areas we can cooperate more.
You see the importance of actually collaborating and cooperating between the countries instead of trying only to think individual. And that's what we kind of wanted to do in this ride as well. We want to have riders from different countries actually riding together for the cause.
And we have a new vision for the Nordic Corporation, which states that the Nordic region shall become the most sustainable region in the world. So the ambitions are quite high, and so it's up to the countries, of course, to to make this happen. But these declarations and the new vision, it sets a path for the future.
Although the journey towards Stockholm has come to its natural conclusion, the battle for a more sustainable future is just begun. Tour de Klima was never going to be about the heavy discussions that most likely will be debated for years to come. Our world has seen many revolutions, and every single one of them has had a big impact on where we are today. Now it is our turn to write history. And we have a unique opportunity to make this revolution be about reconstruction and not destruction. The riders on Tour de Klima carry a great symbolism about them. It is a story within the story itself. It tells us that if we're going to make this revolution count, it needs to be about unity, friendship, and carrying your own weight in spite of our differences. We need to look to those behind us and never forget that nothing happens until somebody does something. The battle for a cleaner environment our kids can thrive in does not start by the recycling bin. It starts every morning when we wake up, from the first glass of clean water we drink to the last bite of food we enjoy. Let this be the year where we move united towards a more sustainable future. Let this be the start of a legacy we can proudly say we were a part of.